Carlos Nelson with Cascade Sports. We're here at Ewing Marion Kauffman High School. We're at one of the practices, and we have the head men's basketball coach. Who do we have here?
Coach Tyrone Davis.
Hey, Coach, tell our audience a little bit about yourself. And I'm, as I just, with the girls coach, from your, like I do the boys, from your biddy, and give the people props that help you get where you're at.
Honestly, man, I'm going to have to give props to Coach Wainwright. Wainwright.
Hey, Calvin, baby boy, he act like nobody else coached him. He's giving you your props.
Oh, yeah, that's love. That's still love to this day. You know what I mean? Calvin was there for me, man, when I really didn't have nothing, because I didn't really have a father growing up. And
a lot of us in the minority community, and that's what I tell the kids. You're not the first one to grow up without dad in the home.
No, I don't let them use that as a crutch, man. I'm a prime example of you can do anything.
And that's what coaches do. Coaches be daddy, uncle, and
You're
best
right.
friend.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right. That's what I mean. And I look at that. I really take pride in that.
You know, I talk to you off camera and what have you. You coach me for the love of the game.
Yes, I really do. I mean, I'm not coaching for the money. I mean, I'm not here with the most talented kids, the biggest kids, the strongest kids. I mean, I got a bunch of kids here that are really buying into what I'm selling.
Your program.
The program.
The culture.
The culture, and I'm trying to change that. You know what I mean? Because a lot of them, they didn't really take it serious in the beginning, but I see a lot of them, the majority of them are really buying in, and you can see that on the court, on and off the court with my team.
I'll switch gears on you real quick, but I want you to tell our audience a little bit about your personal life, your playing career, and even talk about what you've done with your sons.
Gotcha. Okay, with me, my career started out, played at Ruskin. I was actually a baseball player. I wasn't even really a basketball player. My friends basically begged me to play basketball as a freshman. I was like 6'3", 6'4". Shot up to like 6'8" my sophomore year.
That's how Burks did.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All of a sudden,
bam!
Bam!
And my son played on that team with Burks, man. So I started out as a sophomore. Averaged about 7 points a game, probably about 8 rebounds under Sherman Warford, who was a coach at Ruskin at the time. My junior year, I just lit the state up. You know what I mean? I came back a totally different player. As a sophomore, I was soft as cotton, whatever, but I had energy. I had a motor. And it took one person to tell me that I couldn't do it, that I can't do it, I'm never going to amount to nothing. That's what lit that fire under me, and that's what I instilled to my boys that try to go off that other way, like try to use that as an excuse. Nah, you're not going to use that excuse. After high school, I went to State Fair Community College, which I had a lot of high major offers coming out of high school. But like I said, I didn't really have that positive role model in my life, so I didn't really care. I just did the bare minimum to get by. You know what I mean? So I use everything that I've dealt with in life to try to push into my boys so they don't go that same route. Did the bare minimum. I ended up going to State Fair. I was a JUCO All-American at State Fair. I then ended up going to Baylor for a year.
Did
Jason Irvin.
Calvin have anything to do with that?
Nah, Calvin was his Wainwright. Ish went there too. Ish went there, and then Ahmad went to K-State. So I ended up at Kansas State. So both of the Wainwrights went to my alma mater. You know what I mean? So I went to Baylor for a year, went through a little NCAA thing there, finished up at Kansas State. I was all Big 8 2 years in a row at Kansas State. Ended up playing professional ball in Japan my first year. I actually played in the CBA for a minute at Fort Wayne Fury. I had a tryout with Boston, tryout with Denver. I ended up going overseas because at the time I had a family.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was a family man at Kansas State. So I had to choose whether or not I was going to go for the money, go to the league and make a tryout, or go take the guaranteed money overseas.
You got to get the money.
Yeah.
You got to get the money. You
so
got family.
That's what I did.
Miles to feed.
Oh, yeah. I had miles to feed, so I went on over to Japan, had a great year there.
Do you have any regrets in your about the decision you made?
Honest to God, I don't, because I wouldn't even.
Like you still could play in the NBA.
I can play. Let me tell you something. I'm a living example of. I'm not even supposed to be here if you look at my life. You know what I mean? I went through. Too. Yeah, I went through. I've seen all. I've seen the domestic abuse. I've seen alcohol. I've seen all that within my family.
The whole.
I've seen all that. You know what I mean? I wasn't supposed to make it.
I've been there too.
Yeah, so you feel me?
Yeah, I feel you really good.
I wasn't supposed to make it, man, but I did. You know what I mean? So I utilized my story as a story that a lot of these kids can utilize to show them that they can do it, regardless of what's going on within home or what's going on outside the home, that they can do it.
You know, I tell the kids, when I came out of school in 1969, I went to Virginia State on a full scholarship, and my first semester I had an 0.7 grade point average. Then people be saying, no, you had a 1.7. Nope. And you know how when you're in college, the football team comes in early before college starts. Yeah. And that's how I had went down there before. And when the semester started, half of the football team was in remedial classes. And I used to laugh at them. That next semester, I found myself in remedial classes. And I was so embarrassed that when I went home, I wasn't even eligible to play for the team and on a full scholarship. I went to a Jesuit school in the summer and then transferred to Central State and got myself together. Same story with you. That's what I'm saying.
It's positive. It's all positive.
And most of these kids don't understand. Most of our stories are their stories.
You're exactly right. You're exactly right.
But we said we're going to make it. And we did it.
I was determined. Determined. Like I said, all it took was one person to doubt me and tell me that I can't do this, I can't do that. And, I mean, I ended up doing it. You know what I mean? Regardless, I got drafted in baseball. I got drafted in 1991 to New York Mets. A lot of people don't know that about me. I was a baseball player,
that's
man.
My home.
Yeah.
All right.
I was supposed to be the next Dale Strawberry, man.
All right. That's what's up. So tell me, what is the team looking like this year from the beginning of the season, and where do you see yourself at right now?
Honest to God, man, a lot of people probably counted us out in the very beginning just because of, you know what I mean, the tools and the pieces that we have here. But I have confidence that I have a good group of boys. We're not very big, but heart-wise, we are.
Some heart.
Oh yeah. We scared a few people this year. You know what I mean?
What would you consider the style of play that you have your team in right now?
The style of play, honest to God, just to be honest with you, is me.
All right.
How I played, I was one of those grit guys. I was one of those that I didn't have a 40-inch vertical. So I was one of those. I'm only 6'8". A lot of people say only, but when playing the Big 8, everybody's bigger than me if you're playing the 4 or 5. I'm playing against big Lauren Meyer, big Greg Ostertag. Everybody's bigger than me, but wasn't nobody going to outwork me. So that's what I put on my board every game, the work ethic. I put that on the board every game. Outplay whoever we play. Out-rebound whoever we play. They don't outwork us. That's our goal.
Tell me this. Do you think that your players understand the importance of becoming a student of the game?
Not yet, but that's something that I'm trying to instill into them, that as my coaching staff, we're trying to instill into them. That I told them last week, because we're on Christmas break and we just came back, it looked like we're in preseason. So I had to tell them, you got to be a student of the game. You got to respect this, because you cannot just eat what you want. You cannot just go to sleep at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. You got to be a student of the game and do the little things to be able to play the next game. You know what I mean? The next day, the next practice, you got to start here in practice. You know what I mean? We focus on that. Practice, gain speed. You can't come in here jacking around thinking you can practice 20%. Game time coming, you're going 100%. You're wondering why you can't shoot a jump shot. You can't, because you're not practicing that way. So I try to teach them, you have to be a student of the game if you want to try to fulfill.
How important do they understand that conditioning is?
They know, because we ran them. They really got it a couple of days ago.
Do you have a deep bench, or talk about your team in general?
My team in general, I start a freshman, 2 sophomores, a junior, and a senior. If you look, come out the bench, I had sophomores, I had 1 senior on the bench. So we are young. Really, really young. I don't have anyone.
Tell me this, how's your 6th man?
My 6th man.
Can he come in and bring that in?
He's probably second leading scorer on the team. that's
a good 6th
oh,
man.
Oh yeah. He comes in and does his job. He comes in and does his job. My 7th man is another great rebounder.
Because some of them 6 men really should be starting, but coach say, no, I'm not going to let you start because I need you to come in.
Oh, yeah. And see, and with him, I actually started in one game, and it was like the worst game of the year. So
he's ready when
he's ready to come out the bench. So, I mean, I think that's something that he's gotten accustomed to now.
How do you feel your team is gelling at this point?
We are gelling really, really, really well. We have those times where the lights go on and off. All I need them to do is focus a lot of times. And it's when we get out of tune, that's when we start jacking up.
You know, that's what I asked one of your guards. I said 2 minutes to play. You got 1 timeout. your team is out of sync. Can you get the team back in sync without the coach having to use his timeout? He said he could, but that was the kid.
Mario?
Yeah. He said he could do it. I believe
he can. He can. Him and Alex and Justin, they're my guys that I look to for leadership from the one spot. Then I also have my other guys like Brandon, who's real vocal also. He's one of those that he's more mature mind-wise, but I got to stay on top of him because I expect more out of him.
What do you tell your big men and how you set up with that inside game? I told one or two of your big men.
Cheyenne probably. He wasn't there. He wasn't here.
And I stole this from a player that was at the William Jewell tournament. Big like you. I said, well, what do you do with the other big men? He say, I tell him, meet me in the paint.
Is that what it is? Oh.
I got to use
is
that.
Right?
Yeah,
that was my motto. That was my house. Meet
me at home. See what you can do.
Yeah, but the difference between me and my players, I don't have a me on that team. You know what I mean? I got a team full of guards. I got some big guys, but they're not really considered big men. So I got to teach them. I'm looking at, like you said, future. I'm looking at future like I tell my kids, none of you guys are going to be 6'8", 6'9", 6'10". So therefore, I try to transition them over to thinking with that mentality of you got to be multidimensional. You got to be able to post up. You got to be able to D up. You got to rebound. You got to do the little things that everybody else don't want to do. And that's what I tell those guys that are big men. Like, you're not going to be a center if you go to the next level. You're going to be a 3. You're going to be a 2. So therefore, you got to work on your ball handling. You got to work on your post game. You got to be yeah, you have to.
Look, what are you looking forward to? How you looking to finish the season?
Honest to God, man, the way our schedule is set up, we should have I'm looking at being way above 500 because we were like 7-15 last year. I'm looking at us not losing 10 games this year. That's my goal, and that's probably a big if you look at my team, but I truly believe that. Because there's a lot of games that we could have lost, that we could have won, that we lost maybe by 3 or 4. It all came down to the end of the game. It all came down to, went overtime. Yeah, went overtime with Pembroke. We fought tooth and nail with Center. We fought tooth and nail with Hogan. And those are great teams.
Interviewed both of them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We fought tooth and nail with them. We lost to them by 9.
But Center's in the same position you were in to a degree. They're rebuilding.
Yeah.
The new coach there.
But they got some boys over there.
Right. They got guys large as you.
Those I coach them. I coach KJ with Run GMC.
And you know what? And when I did their interview, I think their interview is up in the 1500s. I was like, why is everybody looking at these kids?
Centers, because they're athletes. They're going to get those looks.
Brothers.
Oh, yeah. Those my guys.
I was like, how they interviews done jumped up to 1,500 in a couple of days.
That's my Run GMC guys, our Under Armour guys. Right. Yeah, those my boys.
I had never heard of them.
Really? Oh yeah. They're gonna have some looks, big time. KJ's a dog, man. Yeah, that's my guy. I coached him when he was a 15-year-old.
All right. Hey, Coach. It's a pleasure having you on the show, and we look forward to coming out and covering one of your games.
Man, we appreciate you coming out to Kauffman, man, because my goal is to try to put Kauffman on the map. A lot of people, when you say, I coach at Kauffman, what's Kauffman? The Kauffman Foundation? Downtown Kauffman? Nah, you ain't marrying Kauffman.
High school.
Exactly, high school. Been a 2-year varsity program. We're in 3A, you know what I mean? We located off of 63rd and Purcell. Come out to some games. You'll see some good basketball this year.
Excellent. Pleasure having you on the show, and we look forward to covering one of your games.
Appreciate it.
This program is brought to you by the City of Fountains Coaches Association.